Hi listeners, this is Anna Kaszycki, world champion rower with 3 international degrees, and now youth coach and mentor. This is the Aspire Beyond Greatness podcast, where I share inspiring individual stories to empower you to achieve your goals and future life pursuits. If you enjoyed the podcast today, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Head to my Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Anna Kaszycki. Have an exceptional day, and remember, go after what you want. Welcome to the Aspire Beyond Greatness podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Carolyn King. She is the owner and founder of Empowered Happiness, and she is an author, kinesiologist, and all-around health guru. Thank you so much for joining us today, Carolyn.
Thanks, Anna, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Perfect. All right, let's get straight into it. As you know, this is all about empowering youth, and I would love you to think back to your younger self. And what advice would you give to your 14-year-old self?
I was a really insecure child, so I would probably tell my 14-year-old self that everything is going to be okay and that you're perfect exactly like you are. Own your uniqueness. Stop trying so hard to fit in. And I guess the other thing is to know that everyone else is probably struggling just as much as you. Because I think when you're 14 and you're struggling with trying to fit in and you're trying to, be liked, you don't think anyone else is going through that. But chances are, I would say nearly every 14-year-old is struggling to fit in some capacity. So know that you're not alone.
Definitely. And do you feel like as you've sort of gotten older that you maybe understand that message a bit more, or like why is that so significant to you for your 14-year-old self?
Absolutely. I think I personally went through depression in my 30s, but it stemmed from my insecurity as a child. So when I went through depression, it encouraged me to really look deeply at who I was and what patterns and what messages I was telling myself. So I had to dive deep. If I hadn't gone through that, I don't think I would have had that awareness. So it's that journey that I've gone on as an adult that's helped me reflect back and say, this, you are okay, you will be okay. And that's what's helped me be able to help, because I do work with a lot of youth in my clinic, and it's helping them understand basically that they are enough exactly as they are. But it is the journey that I've gone through in my adult life that's actually helped me see that.
How amazing is that? I think that's really cool that you're able to give back and help them understand a message, when they're in it, and you've sort of been on the other side of that. It's really cool.
Oh, I love it. I love seeing the changes with my clients. I just love seeing the changes. When someone comes in and they're anxious or they're going through insecurities, and after a few sessions, the mum comes back and says they're a different child. And that's what I get excited about. I do a little bit of a happy dance, which looks really sad because I can't dance, but I do it anyway.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, you have to celebrate the wins, right?
Absolutely. And that's probably something else I would tell my 14-year-old, celebrate your wins. We don't do that enough in life.
Yeah, the happy dance. I love that. I still have to figure out mine, but that sounds like a good idea. All right. And I want to ask you, obviously you've got such a depth and wealth of knowledge in the health field. How did you decide on the career that you have?
To be honest, it was an evolution. I remember when I was about 13 or 14 actually being really interested in natural health, and I still remember buying my first bottle of lavender oil because I was getting headaches. I even remember what chemist I went to, because back then I bought my oils from a chemist, and from there it sort of grew. And I didn't grow up in a family that was necessarily open to natural therapies. Not that they weren't, but it wasn't also encouraged. I just grew up in a normal family, that I guess a normal Catholic family. Mum was a nurse, dad was a brickie. There was no, other wellness type of influence. And somehow I was attracted to oils, and then that grew into crystals. And I remember really loving, amethyst and rose quartz. And then over the years, I just started delving into a bit more and doing a little bit more here and a little bit more there, until I think it was 2009 or 10, I can't even remember what year it was, I decided that it was finally time for me to really put my head into something that I loved. I was no longer enjoying my day job, and kept Googling natural therapies, and kinesiology came up, and I had seen a kinesiologist to help me with falling pregnant. And from the moment I rang up, there was an info night that night, so I thought, all right, I'll go along. And from the first class, I just fell in love. And from there on, it's been an interesting journey because I've learned all these stuff from 2010 onwards, but all the things I had learnt earlier on in life when I had done those little courses have all come full circle. It's all come back into my life, and I'm teaching Reiki now, which I didn't learn until, I think I learned that in 2002. And all these little things that I'd done years before and had sort of done it and parked it are now coming back in, and now they're coming back into my clinic so I can actually really help people with all those tools. That's why I guess it looks like I've done so much, because it's been an evolution through since I was 14, essentially, or since I was 13 I started. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you sort of found a love for one thing, and then it just kind of snowballed into all these other things. And do you find it very, I guess, holistic for your clients? Like all the different practices you have, they kind of complement each other?
Absolutely. And I think by having all the different tools, it allows me to find the tool that will work with the client, because not all clients are into crystals, but they might be open to oils, or not all clients are either into oils either. So with the kinesiology, I can work with pressure points and movement. So I'm able to draw on what will work for the client. So I can go as spiritual as it needs to go, or I can go as clinical as it needs to go, depending on where they are and what they're open to and what I feel will work for them.
Perfect. Great. All right. I want to get into a little bit more about you and sort of your journey in life. And I would love to know, what has been your greatest lesson in life?
My greatest lesson? Whoa, it's been lots of lessons. I guess my greatest lesson would be I am enough. Exactly as I am enough. Because for so long, I would be searching to, I would try so hard to fit in, or I would feel like I needed to learn more. So I'd be doing course after course after course, or I would feel like I would need to read more, or I always felt like I needed more before I could do anything with my life. And the greatest lesson now at 44, because that's how old I am, has been that, do you know what? I was enough at every single stage of my life. It's just that I had to realize that within myself, and to know that being enough means loving myself enough to put myself first, and that's okay. And you don't need a gazillion friends out there. You just need a couple of people you can count on, because I have a lot of clients that come to see me that really, they're lonely. I don't have any friends, they say to me. You really only need a couple. You don't need, you need to be your own best friend.
I love that. Yeah, it's definitely taken me way too long to figure that out as well. But especially for younger people, with the overwhelming amount of information there is now in terms of, this is what it needs to look like. And as much as I love the idea of social media connecting people, especially, across different pathways, and it's really great tool, but there are a lot of things, and if you do get too caught up in following people that they present really well, it can be challenging to kind of look at that and say, wait, did I do something wrong? Why doesn't my life look like that? But it's not the case at all. Behind a filter, and when you're laughing and having a good time, you might be in your pajamas, you might be stuffing your face with chocolate, you might be, like, it doesn't have to look perfect. So I really like that message. I think that's a really good one.
And you're absolutely right about social media. Social media is fantastic, but it's also, we have to be really mindful, especially with the youth today, that they don't start comparing themselves to other people or feeling left out because they're not involved or invited to something, because it's not always that simple. And I love the connection, and I've got children. I have a 13-year-old daughter and I have an 11-year-old son, and my daughter is now embarking on social media. And what I love about her, she's so different to who I was at 14. She's more like I am now, thank goodness. But watching her on social media, it's been a great way for her to connect with people that she wouldn't be able to see all the time, because she does a lot of performances and dancing. So it's a great way for her to feel connected to different groups of people that are outside the school, So she's not just limited to one pocket of friends. So it definitely has its benefits, but I guess we definitely still need to keep an eye on how our youth are mentally and emotionally processing what they're seeing on social media.
Definitely. And that's good that you're able to kind of support her along that journey, because I think when I was younger, if social media was around, it would have been, Mom, leave me alone. I don't want to tell you what's going on social media. And, and you don't want to show your parents and things like that. But it's important to kind of have that open communication and be able to understand what's going on for them as they're looking at these pictures and things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So kind of going into a little bit more about delving into, different things and life's journey, which is, as we know, it's not always perfect and we do struggle with things. What has been your greatest setback?
My greatest setback. It's funny, when anything goes wrong, or when I do have a setback, I've learnt to look back on it to see what the lesson has been. So I don't actually look at them as setbacks after the event, if that makes sense. So I don't regret anything in life. I've learnt that everything has been a lesson for my own growth and my own personal journey. So in terms of the biggest things that have happened in my life, my depression was really quite serious because I didn't want to be here anymore. So I was really quite severely depressed. So in one way it was a setback, but now looking back, for me it was a blessing because I did the biggest amount of growth the following year when I decided I needed to overcome that depression, and I decided I no longer wanted to live that way. So for me, I never really delve on the setbacks. I just look at how can I overcome this and how can I become stronger because this has happened to me. And I guess the biggest learning there then is if you're in the middle of a setback and you can't figure it out yourself, seek help. Seek help from your parents, seek help from your school counsellors, seek help, get help from somebody else, because look, I'm still need help every now and then, and when I need help, I'll go see my kinesiologist or my healer, or I'll chat to a friend. It doesn't stop. It just gets easier as you get older if you know that you can lean on other people and get help.
Definitely. And I was recently talking to someone about the importance of community and having that. And I love what you said about, they're not setbacks, they're lessons. And I think having that community, it's not only about when you're going through something difficult, having those other people to share that with and be able to have them help you build it up. But, when you get out on the other side and you are happy and then you have some wins, they're the first people that you want to tell as well, because you're having a good time and things are going well and you want to be able to share that with them as well. So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the flip side, what are you most proud of?
Oh, there's lots of things I'm proud of. I guess the most recent thing I'd be proud of is quitting my corporate job a year ago to really follow my dream of running my business full-time. Up until then, I'd been doing it part-time. But in saying that, I've written a book and I've co-authored a few other books. And so I guess there's lots of things I'm proud of. I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of a lot of things because I've learned that you have to celebrate life. And life is really made up of lots of celebrations. So it's all the little things. Sometimes it might be the little thing of just, just meeting a friend and knowing that I changed their day can be a celebration for me. But yeah, I've had a few big milestones, I guess, in terms of writing the book and quitting my job. So they would be two big things that have happened in my life.
Definitely. And I think I really like that. It's important to be proud of a lot of things. And, if there is one thing significant that changes your life and you're proud of that, then that can be something. But having little things every day, that is important. And, after being an athlete for a long time, I used to be really hard on myself when I was when I was a kid. And it was like, okay, I just have to work really hard and win this race or, and represent this team and do all these things. And then you get there and because you haven't celebrated along the way, you're happy for an instant when that happens, but then you go for the next thing and the next thing and you're not really happy. And I think that's important to take a step back and celebrate the little things along the way, like getting through a hard workout or, like in school, if you get a bad grade, working hard towards getting a better one, or, if you have a fight with someone, being able to sit down and communicate with them what's going on to resolve it And yeah, it's about the little things along the way that you can be proud of, not just the big things.
And absolutely, and it's when you do win the races. I was a netballer when I was growing up, and I did well. I got, I was always getting best and fairest every year. But for me, I didn't even celebrate it in the end because it was, I don't know, I didn't know how to celebrate. I didn't know how to really own that, hey, I was pretty good at this sport, because I had such low confidence that low confidence overwhelmed me and took over the fact that I was good over in this area of my life. And I guess that's the important thing, celebrating things. I was even good at school, but that still didn't make a difference to my emotional health. So we have to teach our youth, celebrate your wins. Celebrate when you've worked hard and you got a good mark. Even if it's not an A, but you got a C. If you worked your butt off and you got the best mark possible, celebrate that. Celebrate when you've sorted out a fight with friends, because those fights with friends can go on for a long time. Celebrate when you've won your race, or you've done the best, or you got your PB, your personal best. Celebrate all of that and find people around you that want to celebrate with you, that are happy to celebrate with you and celebrate their wins as well. We can get just as happy celebrating our friends' wins.
That's perfect. Yeah, we were just talking about that recently, the idea of holding others up. And, it's huge, because I think we get so caught up sometimes in our own lives that we forget that we can be happy for other people as well. And yeah, exactly what you said. It makes us feel just as good. And it's the idea of sort of paying it forward too, right? It's that if that person's happy and we're able to celebrate with them, then they can be happy and make others feel good too. And then we build a community, and it's not just about, one person feeling that they're awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I have an idea that I want to share with you. So it's that from the minute that you wake up in the morning to when you're going to your business or when you're with your kids, celebrating different things, to the minute that you go to bed at night, that everyone in life turns up with different things. So you could be really positive, you could be really genuine, really confident. What do you believe that you bring when you turn up, Carolyn?
I guess I bring the energy of happiness and love, because I'm all about helping lift people up. And I believe that how you feel is more than just who you are. It's an energy that you exude. And I've seen it. We all know when we walk into a room and someone's just had an argument, you can feel the energy in the room. So I guess it's the energy. It's literally the physical. It's more than the physicalness of it. It's the energy I bring when I come into the room, and I bring that laughter and that happiness and that wanting to build you up, and seeing the love that you are and the perfection of who you are when I walk in the room, because everyone is perfect, and knowing that I'm there if someone needs a little bit of help to lift them up. Yes, does that make sense?
Yeah, I actually love that. And I think it's really interesting how you were talking about energy. And it's funny, sometimes you walk into a room and, say a bunch of people are having lunch, and you walk in, it's really quiet and everyone's looking at each other. It's really awkward, and you can feel the tension and you cut it with a knife. Or other times someone makes a really good joke and everyone's laughing, and you can just tell in that moment that everyone's really happy to be there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be spoken or anything needs to be done, but it's just a moment, and the energy, you can really feel that. And I think being in tune with that is huge. And as a younger person, I was very anxious all the time and really struggled to read people. And I was scared all the time of people because of a lot of, different things that were going on. And as time goes by, it's about understanding, like what you were saying about that everyone is perfect in their own way. And when you start to rewire this idea that, there's something wrong with people, or that you can't get along, or you're scared, like those things aren't true. It's when you believe in sort of the right energy and that people are the best version of themselves when you see them. That's when, you can have good conversations with people and build relationships and things like that.
Yeah, and I think as you were talking then, I actually wanted to add something. I think the other thing that I bring is being present for the person. So listening to what they have to say, not trying to think about what I need to say. And why I'm thinking about that is when I go to the grocery store, for instance, I will actually stop and look at the person and say, hey, how are you? how's it going, or make an effort to smile. So it's being present, whether it's with my children, whether it's with my clients, whether it's with my friends, actually stopping and really listening and being present in the moment, because that's the biggest gift we can give to someone, is being present and being there for them.
That's huge. And I just want to add to that. Because I love that. I think it's really important. And when you're younger and you're doing a lot, and it's all about talking fast and trying to get all these things done. And I used to be really bad at listening, and I'm trying to be a lot better at it. But I recently spoke to someone who a big quality that they admire is good conversation. And I think, it's really great to have a good conversation with someone, but a lot of it is about listening, and being present is a part of that. And you sort of don't really realize it, but when you're being present, you have to, it's I guess a married effort between listening and talking. So being present is a part of that. And when someone feels heard, you almost feel better for feeling heard than just being able to talk a lot. And understanding that is really cool. So I think that's really good.
That's one of the biggest things I think I see in my clinic. People don't feel heard, whether it's with their partner, whether it's with their parents, whether it's with their friends. They don't feel like they're being listened to and really heard and understood.
It's the little things, isn't it? Even just, asking someone, how was your day? And that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. What inspires you every day? So it could be a person, place, or situation in life. When you get up in the morning, is there something that you think of that you think, yes, that is what is going to get me through the day?
Honestly, it's the change I'm making in people's lives. It's it's seeing how phenomenal people are. I think about this quite often at night. I know so many people in my life, whether they're clients, whether they're friends, whether they're colleagues, that have gone through adversities in their life and they're still going. There's so many phenomenal people out there. And I think that's what inspires me to keep going, to just know that, there's other people out there that can keep going, and nothing terrible has happened in my life in terms of real, I guess, besides the emotional side of things, nothing terrible has really happened. And if they can keep going after really, crappy things that have happened, and if I can help someone through that, that's what keeps me going. It's when I get that text message from a client, or when I sometimes get text messages from clients saying, hey, this is happening. Can you send me some energy? And I'll go, yep, I'll send you some healing energy. And I do. And then I get a message an hour later, hey, it all turned out all right. That's what keeps me going. Just that impact that I can have on other people.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I think, feedback is huge, isn't it? Knowing, because I guess, I don't know if you sort of feel this at all, but for instance, like I've done social work for a while and coaching and things like that. And when you work with people and, you sort of feel that a change is happening, and they might say something every now and then, but without feedback, you're like, I hope I made that better and not worse. Like, and so if they're telling you, then that definitely helps. And I think for young people, you might be scared to tell the coach, like, oh, thank you so much, you really helped out. I know when I was at uni, when I had a rowing scholarship in America when I was younger, and I used to be really mad at my coaches because they force you to do things you don't want to do, and they'd say things, if you're really stressed. And there was a point where I gained a bit of weight, and the coach said to me, like, I really care about you, is everything okay? Gained a bit of weight, sort of thing. And I was really upset because it sounded like, oh, he's calling me fat. But reality of it was that it was in a caring way, and it was kind of the idea that, it was a difficult time, and it's because they care that they say things like that. But the feedback of them knowing that they're making a difference is, I agree. I think it's really important that, when you hear someone say, oh, you made a difference to my life, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think the thing I've actually learned is the feedback is wonderful, but sometimes I don't get feedback. But I know I'm making a difference, because I will get the random feedback 6 months later. Hey, I've been watching you on Facebook, and, I love your posts in your group, or whatever it is. And I'm thinking, so I know I'm having an impact, because I'll get the off the cuff comments of people just watching me. And I guess the biggest people that watch me are my kids. So, when I watch them and they inspire me. My daughter's, like I said, she does a lot of performing arts, and seeing her get on stage and sing by herself or dance by herself, I just go, wow, I couldn't do that at your age. Or seeing my son, get up and do play the guitar, I'm like, wow, I'm blown away, because at your age, I don't think I could have done that. So they're also my inspiration, but they're also the reason I do what I do, in the hope that I can inspire them to live a life that is true to who they are and not true to what they feel society is going to pressure them to be, to be.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to do things like that, doesn't it? To stand up on a stage, and many of us, we think we're, creatures of habit, and we sort of do things with our own confidence. But yeah, at that age, it's very different. And as you start to get older, you start to think more about things. But no, that's really great. I love to hear that, because as much as you look up to them, I'm sure they look up to you as well.
Yeah.
All right. In your journey, you've had a lot of different things, from, working in the corporate world to being your own health guru now. Who has been your biggest supporter?
My husband, definitely my husband. He's been there. We met when I was finishing year 12. So I was 17, nearly 18. And at the time, right from the start, I got into university. I decided to defer the day before I was supposed to start. And he was there. He was my biggest supporter, and all the way through to, when I was going through depression, and even a year ago when I needed to quit my job, he was there. And he's still my biggest supporter. When I have those days where I go, I don't know if I can do this, this is, because it's not easy running a business. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. And there are some days I go, what am I doing? And he's my biggest supporter, saying, no, you're doing really well. Keep pushing through, keep pushing through. So I'm really lucky to have that support with him. And I've always had great support from my parents as well. So I can't diminish that. They've always encouraged me to do what I need to do. But of course, my husband's the one that lives with me, and he's the one that sees everything. So definitely him.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it makes a big difference. I think it's good to have those people, because we all have those days, right, where it's like, I don't know what just happened. Or it's just, that day was terrible and I don't want to remember it. But having that person there to support you and tell you, like, oh, thank you so much, and it's just a weight lifted off. And for kids, I think when you're young and you have parents tell you, like, it's going to be okay, you have to remember those moments as you get older, because it really is, it is going to be okay, but you just have to take that advice on board and remember that.
Yeah, and remember the people that do support you, because I do have a lot of other support around me in terms of beautiful friendships that I've formed over the years, but allowing those people to support you, and then also supporting them back when they need it. So there does have to be give and take. You asked who my biggest supporter is, but it's also knowing that I can support other people around me. So it's that give and take.
Definitely. And I have no doubt that you're doing that constantly with your job. It's a big part of what you do, I'm sure.
It is.
All right. Well, I would love to thank you so much for being a part of the interview today. And I want to acknowledge you for 3 things that I've taken away. And that is your message to your 14-year-old self, which is that you are enough. And I think every 14-year-old, and even up to, any age really, it's a great message and something that we can all take away. The next is that you spoke about there are no setbacks, only lessons. And that's definitely a great way to think about it. And I think, as we go through different things in life, it's all about what you learn from it. And if you don't learn from it, I find the same thing keeps coming up. So,
yes, it does.
I should probably learn from this. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I'll get it this time.
Exactly. I'm sick of getting D's. Give me an A, please. I'll study really hard. And the last one is about lifting people up. And it sounds like the people in your life are really lucky to have you, and that you love being present and building others up. And I think that's really important. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you for having me, Anna. This has been beautiful to chat with you today. So thank you so much for allowing me to come in and chat to you.
Yeah, no worries. And before I let you go, what's the best way for our audience to connect with you?
I have a few ways. I do have a website, empoweredhappiness.com. And I also have a Facebook group, which everyone is welcome to join, which is facebook.com/groups/creating empowered happiness. And that's where I do post daily. There are kinesiology tips in there. There are motivational videos. There's a lot going on in there. And I guess if you go to my website, you can sort of find all that in as well. I'm also on YouTube and Instagram. So I guess I'm sort of spread out on social media, but yeah, they're probably the two main ways to connect with me. And of course, they can send me an email if they want to reach out and ask me any questions. I'm more than happy to help whoever I can help, or whoever feels guided to come to me.
Perfect. Well, tune in and check Carolyn out, and